My name is Gregory Morgan, and you are tuned in to Love Talk. And I'm going to answer your questions about what works with men and women in relationships, in dating, sex, and marriage, addictions, and whatever else comes up for you in your relationships. So I welcome your calls. I just want to acknowledge that I've been getting a lot of emails from people in Iran, Dubai, Australia, Canada. And so I'm very thankful for that, and I'm honored by your questions and by your trust. So thank you for your questions. Thanks for watching our show. I'm going to try to address some of the questions that have been coming to me on over the internet lately. Before I get started doing that, I'm going to go ahead and take your calls because the lines are already starting to light up. So I'm going to go ahead and take your call. Good evening. You're on Love Talk.
Thank you so much for your time and your program. I love it every time. I mean, I'm listening to it all the time. And I love Dr. Azita very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question regarding 12-step. It doesn't matter what, Al-Anon, AA, or whatever.
Regarding the 12 steps or Al-Anon?
Al-Anon or other addiction when you have.
Arc-Anon, yes.
If you cannot find a good sponsor, I mean, not the good, I mean, it's me. What is the problem? I mean, why I cannot, when I go talk to someone, I just cannot trust them after once when I tell them.
Well, part of that phenomena, so the question is, in case the people in the audience haven't heard it, is in the 12-step programs, regardless of which program it may be, the person asking the question wants to know why she can't find a good sponsor. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and you kind of indicated that you know that it's really you, right?
Yes.
There's not a good and a bad sponsor out there, is there?
No.
There's somebody who's actually standing for you when you can't stand for yourself, isn't there?
That's right.
So when your stand for yourself to free yourself from your addiction is not strong enough, what's your sponsor do?
Well, she's...
Not the story, but what they actually do. They talk to you, right?
Yes, they talk to me.
They talk.
Yes.
You call your sponsor and you go, I feel like I'm having a relapse. I want to take the drugs or the alcohol or whatever it is that you're trying to get yourself free from, yeah?
That's right.
And what do they say?
Well, like I'm on OA, and she, like, when I tell them, oh, I ate a lot and this, and they tell me why you ate that moment, why you didn't call me, why, and I'm not on that point yet to call them.
Yeah, so basically you are not yet, you just haven't suffered enough yet. That's what I always tell people. There's a certain amount of suffering that comes with being an overeater, yes?
Yes.
And
also Al-Anon.
And Al-Anon, right? And so you've put yourself in those programs because you've reached a certain point in your life where you've actually seen that those habits are being destructive to the fabric of your life. Is that so?
Is that right? That's right.
It's destructive to you in how many ways? Financially?
No,
physically?
my life,
emotionally? In your relationships? Your jobs?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So basically it pretty much destroys your life.
Yeah, that's right.
Ultimately, it destroys your life. And I want you to notice that disease, because addiction is a disease of any kind, that dis-ease, it doesn't care about your life at all, does it? It just eats it up.
That's right.
It doesn't care about your life, but you got to a place to where you begin to care about your life, and you begin to see that you were losing control of your life, and that no matter what you did, you weren't able to stop doing that destructive behavior. Is that so?
That's right.
So then you put yourself in a program and you said, I'm going to stop doing this. And the first thing that you had to do was get past a point of denial where you used to say, I'm in control of this, it's not a problem, right?
That's right.
Now you had to say, I'm not in control of this, it is a problem. And I need somebody to help me. So now what you're doing is you're just kind of taking one step forward and two step backs, and that's kind of a normal pattern for addicts. Okay?
Yes.
For people who have addictive behavior, compulsive behavior, it's, you take one step forward and then the old disease goes, wait a minute, come back, right?
Yes.
And so your sponsor is really there to like throw you a rope and help you pull yourself up out of, the quicksand.
That's right.
And the thing about any addiction is the more you try to get yourself out of it, I think quicksand's a good analogy because the more you kind of sink into it. So you really do need some anchor point outside of your own mind to pull yourself up out of that. So what there is to do with your sponsor is choose a sponsor and do whatever they say. Just do it. Don't listen to your feelings and thoughts and emotions about it. Just do what they say.
Okay.
That's the best thing you could do right now. If you were drowning in quicksand and somebody said, take a hold of the rope, and you go, well, why don't you have a better rope? That's kind of what you're doing with the sponsor. I can't find a better sponsor.
That's right.
The sponsor is your lifeline to get you up out of there. Then you worry about you're choosing your friends and your social life. But your sponsor is your lifeline, and regardless of who you get, they're the right one.
That's right.
Okay, so you need to just choose them and really honor what they have to say to you because they're there for you when you are not there for yourself.
That's right. I just don't like it when they tell me, before you eat, call me. This is just like my mom always nagging.
Well, your mom is probably who you're resisting in the overeating anyhow. Did your mother make you eat?
Exactly.
Well, so there you go. I mean, it's not hard to trace back where eating disorders come from because eating disorders are almost always a control issue. It's the one thing that you have something to say about what goes into your body, and so you're going to not eat when you don't want to eat or eat as much as you want to eat. It's a control thing.
That's right.
Right? So somebody says, I'm going to help you control this yourself, or call me, then, you're going to just resist them. It's going to bring up the mother pattern with you.
And this is very hard for me when they are saying this is a lifetime program, and I feel it is true because I'm not, when I look at the future, I say, I'm sure I'm not going to have a control on my eating forever. So this is very hard to think about it. So anyway, that's...
Well, I congratulate you for having the courage to put yourself in a program and having the humility and the dignity to say, you know what, this is something I'm not in control of and I need some help. That to me, while it may seem like a humiliating circumstances, life will humble you even further if you do not humble yourself.
That's right.
Yeah? You got that? So your humility is the key to it all. And sometimes humility looks like the sponsor said, call before I eat. Hello? I'm hungry. It might just look like that to you. I want to eat everything in the icebox. You better get over here.
That's right.
Okay?
Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Thank you for your call.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. What we've found is that in relationships and in life in general, people have some kind of addiction or compulsive behavior. You could put them all under the blanket of some kind of addiction to being unconscious or to dampening our consciousness. Studies of the brain have shown that everything that you've ever seen, smelled, heard, tasted, touched is recorded there. And it's all alive and well. It's actually accessible on the hard drive, if you will. Human awareness is so vast and penetrating that it's actually overwhelming, and so we all shut it down in one way or another, whether it's through eating or watching TV, maybe you watch Love Talk, playing video games or smoking, drinking. So the question is, how much joy and ecstasy, intimacy, and connectedness can you stand before you have to shut it down in some way, before you have to actually take the edge off with something? The practice of creating relationships that are intimate and profound and powerful has to do with actually being there in that uncomfortableness, noticing the body sensations and noticing all the stuff that goes on with us and actually being profoundly with another human being. So I've got more calls coming in. I'm going to keep answering the calls. Good evening. You're on Love Talk.
Hi, Gregory.
Hello.
Thanks for your show.
Thanks for calling.
I'm going to start my question. I'm pregnant and
congratulations. Are you
I
happy
had
about
a
it?
miscarriage before, and I'm very, very worried. I have a very loving husband, which is really on my side, but I don't stop to be worried, and I always have the feeling I'm going to lose this baby. 29.
Okay. And you had a miscarriage before, and were there any unusual circumstances at that time? Were you drinking, smoking, partying?
Oh, not at all.
Climbing mountains? Was there anything other than normal?
Yeah, I was
activity?
Not far. I was 5, 6 weeks, but we were on trips, so we weren't home.
Did you fly around in airplanes and stuff?
I did at the time.
Do you think that might have had anything to do
my
with it?
husband's job, but not anymore. That was just for.
Okay, but do you think that might have had anything to do with it? What did your doctor say?
My doctor said it happens to every woman. Some women, they don't notice it, some they do, but every second or third pregnancy, one of them is miscarriage, 100%.
Well, I agree with that analysis. Yeah. That is what I know to be so. Because you lost one does not mean that you will lose another one. And it probably means that you'll be more careful this time and take better care of yourself. Now, is your question about how do you stop worrying?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I got it. Rather than tell you how to stop worrying, I would rather coach you in putting your mind on something that will actually be a positive thing for you, okay? Because whatever you focus on, what happens when you focus on something?
I always achieve it.
Yeah. And what happens when you focus on something negative?
Yeah, probably.
Bring it right in, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't want to think about it.
Yeah. So the mind is like a powerful radio transmitter, if you will. Okay?
Do you mind that I listen from TV?
No, go ahead.
I would love to listen
go ahead.
to my husband.
Yeah.
That would be great. And we're listening. Thank you so much.
You bet. Whatever you focus on gets stronger. And the mind is like a powerful radio antenna. When you put out a vibration, that which is most like it will be attracted to it. When you affirm, so I recommend that you write down, that you close your eyes and visualize having this baby be healthy and happy and enjoying its playing in the yard and playing with you and your husband, and just write down, what are you seeing? What are you feeling? How does it make you feel emotionally? What are you hearing? What are you thinking? What's it like? Where are you? And really visualize that very, very vividly. And then write down the things that it makes you feel. I feel this way. I'm thinking this way. I smell this. I do that. And really create it powerfully for yourself. And then I request that you read those things out loud, because whatever you say verbally has more power than just your private thoughts. And I'm going to ask you to do that at least once a day. Before you go to bed is best, because whatever you say and do right before you sleep has an impact. Your subconscious mind continues to work on it. That's my recommendation. And when you find yourself thinking those negative thoughts and those worry thoughts, I want you, just like you would take a weed out of a garden, to pull that thought out. Just pull that thought out and get rid of it. And if you want to use your hands, just actually use your hands to do that. And then plant in its place the thought that you want. It takes a certain amount of discipline, and you have to catch yourself doing it. Mostly when you're worried, you're just kind of like in the worry. So I'm asking you to actually catch yourself worrying, notice that you're doing that, saying, no, I don't want that thought. And just like you would delete a thought or delete something on your computer, I actually say sometimes, no, cancel that. When I have a thought that's like I know destructive to me, I'll actually say out loud to myself, cancel that. And I literally disappear the thought. I literally delete it, put something in its place that serves me, something that's going to actually serve me and the higher good. Okay, so I hope that helps you. On our website, there is a place where you can go, and there's quotes from different talks that I've done and things that I've written. And one of the quotes that she wrote me about has something to do with when you finally make up your mind to only open your heart to a man whose deep wisdom will take you further than you have ever been on your own, then such a man will appear. So that, I believe, is something that's pretty close to it, the quote that she sent me. And she asked me to say something a little bit more about that. And this is an appropriate time to say that because of what I just said about the negative thoughts. Whatever you're putting out into the universe, whatever you're speaking and standing for in the universe the law of causation, the law of causality will actually bring that towards you. Now, a lot of people may have a little bit of philosophical problem with that, but we live in a universe, a universe. It is not a diverse, it's one vibration, and that's what the unified field of energy is all about. So when you finally make up your mind that you're not going to sell out, that I'm talking to the women now, but the men can apply this to the woman of your life that you're dreaming of. When you finally decide that you're only going to have it the way that you say it's going to be, then anything that's not that just gets bounced off. Anything that's not that will show up, and it'll just simply be not that. Have you ever decided on a particular car that you wanted? You know, maybe you saw it in a magazine or something, and now from that time on, that's all you see on the road. You see them everywhere. And everything that's not that's just not that. It's just, there's tons of cars out there, but that one car that you're standing for, that one car that you're attracted to, it just keeps showing up everywhere. Well, it's the same with human beings. It's the same with relationships. When you've decided that only somebody who's deep loving, that can open your heart and that you can actually be authentic with, and that's the only kind of person that you are going to be with, that you're going to stop messing around with everybody that's not that, then you'll see they'll just walk right up into your space, just like that car that you saw in the magazine, and now there they are all over the road. They'll just be there. They'll show up and appear. So that's what that quote's about, okay? I'm going to take your calls. Good evening, you're on Love Talk.
I have a question about my husband. Since you're a man, I want to get a man's point of view.
Okay.
I've been married almost 10 years, and my husband is very nice, and we have a good relationship. But he's a little bit rebellious. I like him. When we first were married, he would wear his ring, and now he would always wear his wedding ring and all that. And then the last few years, he's not wearing his wedding ring, and it bothers me.
Did you ask him why?
He says, I just don't like to wear jewelry.
Mm-hmm. And did you tell him how it made you feel?
No.
Why not?
Well, he knows that I want him to wear it, but he said, you make me do it, and that's why he doesn't want to do it.
So he's still resisting his mother or something?
I don't know. So I mean, what should I do? How should I approach him?
Well, I find that what works with men best is when you tell them how you feel. And if a man, not in a way that is going to complain or make them responsible for your feelings. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
You alone are responsible for your feelings. All he's doing is not wearing his wedding ring. He hasn't done anything wrong.
No.
Right? He just doesn't wear his wedding ring.
Yeah.
And maybe it's uncomfortable on his hand. Who knows? Okay? It could be any number of things. I used to do a lot of carpentry work and stuff, and I wouldn't wear my ring during the daytime because I didn't want to catch it on any machinery or anything.
No, he doesn't have that.
You know, so then sometimes I'd forget to put it back on, but I actually like wearing my wedding ring, and so different case. But what works best with men is if you take responsibility for your feelings, but you can let them know, you know, I don't feel like you love me, I don't feel connected to you, I feel like you're, you know, separating yourself from our marriage, whatever it is that you feel. But you be responsible for your own feelings. Just when you do that, this is how it makes me feel. Now, if a man really wants to take care of a woman, he'll want her to feel good. He'll want her to be happy. He'll want her to not be unhappy. You know, if he says something about his own feelings, right?
Uh-huh. Are you asking me?
No, I'm saying if he does say something about his own feelings when you tell him how you feel, then he's actually competing with you to see whose feelings are going to be more important. Do you hear that?
Yes.
In a masculine and feminine relationship, here's my word to you, is that the woman's feelings are always the most important. The man's feelings are less important than the woman's feelings. And a lot of men have a problem with that. Men's ability to take care of women and children defines their value to society and to their families. Men have the ability to basically stuff it, okay? Suppress their feelings and do what must be done for the sake of others. That we call a noble or honorable man. A man who's all about his own feelings, we call an immature man, more like a boy, wanting to get his feelings taken care of all the time. That is a relationship to a mother. And unfortunately, there are a lot of men whose mothers have made them feel, all the way up into their manhood, there's 40, 50-year-old men who still ask their mother about things and still are trying to impress their mother, still so attached to their mother that then they want their wives to be like mothers for them. They want their wives to take care of their feelings, and they're not available to take care of their wives' feelings. And I'm telling you men that to a woman, having her feelings taken care of, being taken care of, is synonymous with, that's love. A woman feels love when she's taken care of. A man feels loved when he's respected, when he's accepted and respected. A man feels like, to him, that lands like love over here. She loves me because she respects me and she accepts me how I am. A woman feels loved when she's taken care of financially and emotionally. They usually want both, but I tell them to choose, you know, because you may not get both.
So I'm sorry, so what do you do with a man like this?
Well, you stop mothering him for one thing. Have you been taking care of his feelings?
Like tonight, his parents live in another state. And I came home and we were talking. He said that he was just talking to his parents, and it's Thanksgiving, they're getting together, and he feels sad that he's not there, and he feels homesick. And even though we're getting together with my family, when he talks like that, it makes me feel like, well, you know, he just is homesick for his parents and for his family, and he just says, oh, I feel so sad. So what do I do? How do I respond to him?
You can just tell him I understand and I got your feelings. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to take care of him. You don't have to mother him. Ask him what he's going to do about it.
Yes, so I told him, if you want to go ahead and go, you know, for holidays there, that's fine. You know, I just didn't know. I mean,
well, I think that's a little drastic, don't you? Who would be the loser in that situation? Would you stay home and have him go there, or what? What are you proposing?
No, I'm just saying that if he wants to spend some time with his family and I spend some time with my family, so he doesn't feel like...
How would you feel about that? Tell the truth.
Because my family is all around me here, but he doesn't have any family here.
You didn't answer my question. My question was, how would you feel about it?
Well, I don't like it. I want him to be with me.
Okay. You would sacrifice your feelings so he could feel better?
I guess that's what I do, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that what a mother does for a child?
Yeah.
So when a mother does that for a child, does she respect the child?
No.
Stay with me here. You don't have to respect your children, do you? I know this sounds funny to a lot of people. You can take care of your children, but when your children grow up to be men and you're still taking care of them as if they were children, you're being disrespectful. When wives take care of their husbands, sacrifice their feelings so their husband's feelings become more important, they're being a mother to the husband, and you cannot mother a man and respect him at the same time, can you?
No.
It's disrespectful to mother a man. So you're either going to respect him or you're going to be his mother. And I got to tell you something. If you don't respect him, then you're not actually loving him as a woman. You're loving him like a mother. You might as well change his diaper or feed him or something.
Okay, so what do I do then? Tell me, what do I do?
Well, stop mothering him. You tell him that your feelings, you know, you tell him, look, I don't want you to go away. I want you to stay here. You know, I understand that you don't, you know, that you miss your parents. How about we have them come? You know, there's lots of other solutions that don't include you sacrificing something, right?
Yeah.
If he wants his parents to be with you on Thanksgiving, then buy him a plane ticket and bring him over.
No, they can't come because they're too old.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, work it out. You guys are adults, okay?
So you're telling me, in other words, I shouldn't mother him, even though, you know, I feel bad for him. I should just let him take care of.
Well, he's trained you to mother him, hasn't he?
Somehow, yeah.
Yeah, you've kind of fallen into that.
Yeah.
It was expected of you, and you felt that that was the only way that you could get love from him.
Yeah.
And all you've gotten as a result of it is more and more disrespect, right?
Yeah.
And I want to tell you the mechanism in that is that men actually want to be men, but if they stay attached to their mother or the mothering energy, regardless of whether the mother's living or dead, they can still stay attached to the mother, and they can transfer that to their wife, and that's most usually what they do. They want to get mothered by their wives, which keeps them small. And because they know that internally, subconsciously, whether they've ever heard me or somebody like me speak before, they know it themselves. They know that they're not being the man that they were meant to be, and they know that they're codependent in some way on a woman and need her nurturing and validation. The more they get that nurturing and validation, the more it invalidates their masculinity. Can you hear that?
Yes, so I should stop.
So you actually do a huge disservice to men when you mother them. And when a guy gets more than 20 years old or something, he ought to start being treated with the respect of manhood, even though he may not have earned that yet. He will grow into that. But if you keep treating him like he's like 14 years old or something, or 12 years old, then he could stay like that until his 40s or 50s and never actually, and then transfer that to his children and his wife and everyone. Yeah. I'm standing for men who actually stand up and be the man that they want to be, that they're proud to be, and that they teach that to their sons and daughters, and that they have daughters that want to marry men like them, and sons that want to grow up and be like them, and wives that can't wait to come be around them because they have a powerful masculinity that they're proud of, proud and humble at the same time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You can't get that if you're being mothered by your wife. You got that?
Yes, so I should tell him about how I feel.
Tell him about how you feel. The feminine begins her sentences with, I feel. I don't feel. I would feel better. Talking about communicating her feelings, but owning them. You know what I mean? Never say, you make me feel. That's a codependent phrase. People, take that out of your vocabulary. Nobody makes you anything. You alone are responsible for your feelings and how you deal with them. Maybe you don't have a whole lot to say with what life throws at you, the things that come at you from life, but you have everything to say about how you're going to respond to them if you're being responsible for your life. And you're going to have feelings, okay? But they're your feelings. If I was to say, where's the feelings, point to where the feelings are, you'd have to point over here to yourself, right?
Yeah.
So they're your feelings. I'm just saying all that. Be responsible for your feelings, but share them. Tell him how you feel, and ask him, what does he think? Men like to be respected for their thinking. A masculine man will begin his sentences with, I think, I know, I've decided, I choose, like that, right? They'll tell you what they think about stuff. And they like to be respected for their guidance, for their thinking, for their reasoning powers. Men like to do things and think about things and plan things and make things happen. And they like to be respected for that. That's their service to you. And they like to take, a masculine man likes to take care of women and children. They enjoy it. They want to.
Right. So in case, when he talks about his family and all that, I say, okay, I understand that, but I feel better if we would spend the time here together, but you're, free to do what you want to do. Is that how I should respond?
Either that, or if it's really painful for him, or he thinks that he's going to, maybe his parent, you said they were old, I don't know how old they are, maybe they're not going to be around that much longer, and he's feeling some regret about that, and I could understand that he might want to make sure he doesn't miss spending a holiday with them. Then, you have to just look at the circumstances and see. Maybe it's appropriate for you to say, hey, let's go be with your parents because, who knows how long they're going to be here.
All right.
That if you can do that without any loss of power. I always say give as much as you can wholeheartedly, lovingly, and generously give. And when it starts hurting too much, stop giving, because it's not a gift anymore. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Men will tend to take the habits that they get in childhood into their life, and if, it's something that I see a lot in this particular community, but I see it in all communities, where the mother will become so attached to the son that they don't actually want to release them and let them become whole men, and those men are somehow hampered in their ability to interact and have intimate relationships with women because they turn every woman into their mother, and then they turn around and start resisting her, because ultimately, as a way of wanting to grow up, you have to resist your mother. So this board is lit up all over again. Thank you for your calls. I'm going to take some. Good evening. You're on Love Talk.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Lidan, and I'm from Canada.
Okay.
I'm just going to say my name because I know that you might remember my situation. So I'm dating a non-Persian guy, and my dad is not okay with it. And
Oh yeah, and I was saying,
yeah, he should be.
don't betray your father.
My family, yes. That's
Yeah, I got it.
So I was wondering about how is he supposed to do that? Because he's been to my house before as a friend, and he got a lot of respect. But after they found out that he's not, well, we're kind of dating, they weren't really supportive.
So I want to recreate your situation without revealing your identity or anything, not that there's anything bad going on, so that our listeners can benefit from this. Is that okay?
Yes.
So you're 21 years old and you're going out with another 21-year-old guy. He's Canadian and you're Persian?
Yes.
And your parents don't approve of him, and your father told everybody not to let you see this guy. And
After I've been through.
after you'd been through some stress and depression and stuff like that, right? Is that correct?
That's perfectly correct.
Okay, great. And then you asked me what you should do because you wanted to keep seeing the guy, and you were planning on doing that in secret. And I said,
Well,
don't.
it's not actually a secret. They know it. They just want to ignore it. And my dad is the only one who doesn't know about it because they just don't say anything to him.
Okay, I got that.
Yeah.
So that's a conspiracy. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
And this guy is like, I'm just going to guess, if he's like most fathers, he's probably spending 18 to 20 hours a day working to support a family.
Yes, that's the kind of guy he is.
Right?
Yes.
So whatever car you have, whatever credit card you have, whatever phone you're talking on right now, whatever food you ate today probably came from that guy, right? The clothes you have on, your watch, everything came from that man's efforts. And you want to create a conspiracy and hide something from him?
And we weren't even dating, but we were close friends. Like, you know, he totally gave me the 3 no continuously, kind of like, don't even think about it. He's not Persian, don't even think about it, right? And I put him aside because of that for a long time. And then when I felt that I'm not happy, it's like I have an unfinished business, I went back, and then I was like, I would like a second chance because of this and that, right? You remember the email now, hopefully. And then
I do. So you went back with the guy after your father said no. And did you go to your father and say, look, I've thought about this and I really care for this guy?
No, my dad wasn't around, but I told my family, like this time I was open about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm dating this guy.
Okay.
And they're like,
so you need to tell your father. The short
Not
answer, just like I told you today in the email, is you have to tell your father. You need his permission.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it's bothering you, and that's why you've written to me twice about it and called me on the television show, because it's bothering you.
Well,
and it's bothering you because it's an out of integrity, because you love your father and you respect him, and he doesn't approve of this guy, and he's got his reasons, and he has a right.
So what do I do if he doesn't approve?
Respect him, or get out of the house and pay for your own stuff.
All right.
Okay? I know it sounds tough, but that's what you need to do. You either respect your father or don't disrespect him by staying in his house and betraying his trust.
Okay.
That will set up a relationship, and if you do that with this man and he does that with you, you will set up a condition of no integrity, and you will have nothing sound to base your relationship on. I'm not saying that what you're doing hasn't been done for centuries, okay? That's what Romeo and Juliet's all about. And if you go to Bali, there's 2 gods that they celebrate that had the forbidden love from 2 different tribes. You know, my own wife and I are from 2 different tribes, if you will. I'm from the Oklahoma Indians, and she's from Iran, you know, and they didn't necessarily approve of me at first. So, you know, but I had to go prove myself. You know, I had to go show myself to be an honorable and lovable person and win their respect. And it wasn't easy. I tell you, man, I showed up at Persian weddings with 500 people staring at me like, who's that guy and why is he here?
Yeah, my boyfriend has done a lot of...
You know, well, he might need to do it a lot. I had to do it for several years. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so he might have to do it a lot. And it'll, you know, he'll either turn and run or he'll stand up to the heat, you know? You know, don't betray your father and then have that be, you know, you're putting, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I know you do.
I just don't want anyone to get hurt in between. It's just,
people get hurt all the time. You can't live your life trying to avoid hurting people.
Yeah, like I'm keeping him away because I know that if he doesn't get the respect he kind of wants to, because he's a man as well, right? he likes to get appreciated for what he's doing. He's learning Farsi. He's doing great, but no one seems to be
He
appreciating.
sounds like a great guy.
He's a great guy.
You know, he might be shaking in his boots, and he might have to go up to your dad. I'm sure he's a powerful man. And,
he wanted to do that, but
and just say, listen, I got to talk to you, man to man.
He wanted to do that.
Huh?
He wanted to do that, but I didn't want him to do it.
Well, there's a difference between wanting to do it and actually doing it.
Like, well, it's not that serious now. We're just dating, right? I don't want him to sound like, oh,
listen, I'm not going to keep talking about this anymore. You got my coaching, right?
All right.
You just don't like it.
So much.
You just don't like what you're hearing, but
I do.
I'm not going to change what I'm
All
saying.
right.
Okay?
Thanks. Have a great night.
Yeah. Good evening. You're on Love Talk.
Mr. Morgan,
Hello.
love your show.
Thank you.
I'm calling you from Santa Monica. 2 questions.
Yes.
I've lived in America for like most of my life.
Yeah.
25 years. I'm about 40 years old now.
That is most of your life.
And I was married once to an American for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot get used to, although as much as I love to get together with an Iranian lady, but the attitude and the problems familiar problems that I see with the Iranian girls stop me from even approaching one, just getting close to one, let alone living with one. Being in an intercultural relationship yourself, what do you think? Is it a problem not to? I mean, I know that I have a problem. It's a mental block that I can't get close to an Iranian girl. Is it better to try to overcome that problem, or is it better just to ease it off and go with the way I like to do it?
Well, I think that because you're asking the question, that is something about it that bothers you. Like maybe you're attracted to Iranian women and that you would like to be with one, but you can't be, and that bothers you. Because, for example, I like Iranian women, I like Chinese women, I like Japanese women, I like American women, I like French women, I like all kinds of women, okay?
Not a problem.
You know, they all got problems of some kind,
Right.
you know? I was married to a French woman for 15 years.
Right.
And French women have got their French problems, right?
Right.
and I was with an Italian woman before that, and Italian women have Italian problems. So
The thing is, before interrupting,
it's about being with the human being.
The counselor and the psychologist in the Persian community stress the fact that you need to get together. It's easier, it's better for everybody if you get together with the Iranian person of your own kind, let's say. That's true.
Well, I have to say it's not true for me. No, first of all, it's not true. Okay? It's just not true. Better for who? Better for your family or better for you?
Better
Right?
for my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
The people
I guess
giving that advice are watching out for their own tail, I think. You know, I think that they're interested in making it easy on themselves. You know, that way, I mean, you don't have to, if you're an Iranian, you don't have to have, you know, a black family over for dinner or a Chinese family or somebody that you don't have any way of knowing what they're like. You don't have to deal with that, right?
Right.
But what if you like somebody from a different culture that was just totally different from you, and what you liked about them was that they were totally different from you?
See, the strange thing is that the person who is totally different from me seems to be the Iranian girl. See?
The Iranian girls are totally different from you?
Exactly. That's the way I feel.
Well, I just think they're the most beautiful women in the world. I just,
No.
you
As
know.
far as beauty, I agree with you. They're
just
the most beautiful girls. But from the attitude point of view, they're the most different from...
Well, they could be difficult. They have their own set of problems, yes? And here we are talking about them as if they were, like, not listening, right? I'll probably get, like, in trouble for this. But I understand what you're saying. I'm saying that whatever it is that is troubling you is more than likely a resonance with your mom.
It is true.
You know? Let's face it, whatever you're resisting has probably got more to do with your relationship with your mother than it does with any particular cultural characteristic that Iranian women may have.
Okay, let's go there then.
Okay.
How do we go about this?
Well, how's your relationship with your mom?
it's wonderful. I mean, after my divorce, we live together. I take care of her like, like a good son, like the good son's supposed to be to a strange mother in a strange land.
Yeah, okay, well, it sounds like that. So is there something about her that you feel that you need to resist?
No, she's the one who prefers an Iranian girl. I have to turn the TV down. the whole. I mean,
now wait a minute. You're 40 years old and you're actually caring what your mother thinks.
No. I'm caring about the echo in your.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right. You're not turning it down so your mom won't hear what you're saying?
Well, I have to. No, I was
Okay.
turning it down because I didn't want the phone to echo.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Bother.
I'm teasing you a little
But
bit.
anyway, no, I do care about what she wants. I do care about my family and my my lady of the fuse. Of course, I have to be happy, and of course, they have to be happy. So this is the problem that I don't know how to solve.
Well, why don't you, for the time being, let's just talk about your happiness. Okay, I'm of the opinion that parents take on raising someone and give them everything they can give them and do their absolute best to. I like Gahil Gibran, and I know I'm not saying it like you say it, the real way.
Yes, I like him too.
How do you say it?
Khalil Gibran.
Thank you. I can't say that. Never mind. And
No, you do.
but he talks about parenting and children, and he compares it to an archer who aims their arrow and does their best to have it hit its mark. But once you release it, this arrow is free.
Right.
And it'll either hit the mark or it won't. Yes?
Yes.
And all you can do is aim your best. And I believe that after you grew up and moved out of your mom's house and got married and all that stuff, even though you're now back there taking care of her, I believe that she ought to have, and I probably in her own heart she has, released that arrow. And you turned out how you turned out. And I'm sure, and you're a good man, I can tell. You know? You turned out how you turned out. You have whatever faults you have and whatever qualities you have, and so right now it's your problem to make yourself happy.
Yeah.
Your responsibility to make yourself happy. You don't have to make her happy.
If you go,
I know that. I don't say that cold-heartedly. Do you know what I'm saying?
I understand you perfectly, and I believe that. Under normal circumstances, if I was home in my own country and if she was in her own country, you're right. We would have gone this way and we would have released that arrow and hoped that it hits the mark. But I have to also remember and also keep it in mind that we are still at her age, she's about 70 years old.
Yes.
She's in a strange place.
Yes, and I have all the compassion in the world for that, believe me. I have all the compassion in the world for that.
And not let go. Yeah.
And I believe that there's enough space for you to be thoroughly happy, whole, complete, fulfilled in your life and in your relationships without sacrificing your own happiness for hers. Okay?
Okay.
So if you like something other than a Persian woman for your own self and your own taste and your own life, then by all means I think that you should have that. If you can afford it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So to take the first step.
Yes.
Is to find this happiness.
Well, I mean, have you ever gone out with Persian girls? I mean, what's
many
the deal?
times. Oh yes.
And you just don't get along, or you just?
We get along fine. I mean, we get along fine. We get along too fine, except for when it comes to living together and the mental block that I have about the Persian women. That's what creates a problem.
Yeah.
So I have to fix that.
Okay, I got it.
I don't know how.
Well, this is something that it will take more than this phone call. Right. To complete. And my office is in Santa Monica, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it.
Where are you in Santa Monica?
I'm at 6th and Wilshire.
Oh, very close.
Embrace Growth is at 6th and Wilshire in Santa Monica, and we have our offices there. And Dr. Sayan and I do private sessions and sessions by phone for people who are in other countries or other cities. And so it's pretty easy for you if you're in Santa Monica. Come by and see us.
We shop at the Whole Food Market all the time, so I'll come and see you soon.
All right, good. My building is back to back with the Whole Food place.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know where that is.
All right.
Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too.
I'll look for your for Azita you next week.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Good evening. You're on Love Talk.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm a married woman for about 6 years, and during a couple years ago, we had a lot of problems, and I'm not happy with my marriage, and just try to figure out the way to going out. Okay.
And what I think I heard was that you've been married for 6 years?
Yes.
And now you're unhappy about that?
Yes.
And you're trying to figure out a way to get out of it?
Yes, and I believe my love about my husband was done a couple years ago.
What?
And
I didn't hear that.
I don't have. I believe I didn't have any love, or I don't have any love about him anymore. No affection or no love anymore. And I just tried everything to work out, but
Do you have children?
I couldn't get any result. And
Do you have children?
No, no children.
So you've been married for 6 years. You don't feel like you love your husband anymore. What happened?
A lot of difficulties we have. I don't want to go to it.
Well, if you don't want to go to it, then we're not going to go very far in
another-
the conversation because something happened.
No, I don't want to work on this relationship anymore. My question is about something else. During this time, through my university, I got very attracted to my professor. Actually, he started with me, and very indirectly, and how somehow he found out about my personal life and information about me, and very, not directly, very indirectly tried to show his feeling to me. And
even though he knew you were married?
And now I feel, more getting out of this relationship than I have.
Listen, I'm going to stop you right here.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to stop you because I want you to know that you have no integrity in your life, okay? A marriage is where you say, I will stay with you and work out whatever comes up in my life, no matter what, and that includes not having the feelings of love anymore, because you know what? You're not the only one. People don't always have the feelings of love. Love is an action. It's a verb. It's something you do even though you don't feel like it. So it's something that you do. You're confusing the biochemical, neurological reaction that causes a certain sort of feelings to rush over your brain, which you could probably have by eating a sufficient amount of pizza, with love. Those feelings are not love, okay? Love is something entirely different. It's something that you do. It's a commitment that you make. And how you know that you love yourself is measured by the commitments that you make and keep, the promises that you make and keep. Do you keep a promise whether you feel like it or not? Or do you only keep a promise if you feel like it?
If the person, in another party do something unethical to you and causing to break in this love, and there is no more, reason to continue.
Oh, so it's their fault you don't have those feelings anymore.
I'm sorry?
I understand. It's their fault that you don't have feelings anymore, right?
Yes.
In other words, they're in charge of your life. Could I please speak to the person in charge of your life? I'd like to speak to that person, please.
I'm alone.
Huh?
I'm by myself.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to the person in charge of your life.
I am in charge of my life.
Are you?
Yes.
So somebody else made you feel and not feel something, and then somebody else came along who has no integrity because, first of all, he's checking up on the private life of a student, which is probably even illegal, okay? He finds out, obviously, that you're married, but he pursues you nonetheless. So you want to go out with a guy who would actually approach and try to seduce a married woman. That's a guy with a lot of integrity. I think that'll probably work for about 6 months. And you want to leave your husband, who you promised to love and marry and stay with. I don't doubt that your husband has done stupid things. I don't doubt it for a second. I've never met a man that didn't do tons of stupid things. In fact, the greatest men that I have ever met in my life, men who I just hope I can be like, men who you know their names, famous and great men who have made huge differences in society, and every one of them has closets full of really stupid things that they've done. And your man's no different, and neither am I. Men do stupid things. I don't think it's ever going to stop. And the guy that's pursuing you right now, that professor, he's doing stupid stuff right now.
Maybe I said it the wrong way to you. He didn't do anything wrong. Maybe he want to find out, he want to make sure what situation, I'm going to have.
Speak into the telephone so we can hear you, okay?
Okay, he didn't do anything wrong yet. He didn't do anything, unethical, immoral, nothing like that. He just showed.
Well, wait a minute. Did he approach you and make his feelings known to you?
Very indirectly.
Indirectly, but he did that, didn't he?
Yes.
It wasn't an accident. He did it on purpose.
Maybe I feel at that time maybe he didn't know I was married.
I doubt that. Do you wear a wedding ring?
Yes.
He knew you were married the first time he saw you then, unless he's a very stupid professor. Doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out that a woman's married when she's wearing a wedding ring. Come on, you have no integrity in your life, and you draw no integrity to you. And this conversation has no integrity unless you're going to take responsibility for whatever it is that's showing up in your life. I recommend that you go to your husband and you tell him that you have been denying him love for how long?
For a few years.
For several years. Does he work every day and pay for all your stuff?
Both of us do.
Mm-hmm.
And I do my responsibility. I'm a very caring person, and I didn't do anything wrong. And I mentioned to him all of my feelings and his mistakes, and nothing changed.
Okay, I understand. Well, listen, it's not something that's going to get resolved in a single phone call now, is it? It's taken you several years to build into this situation, and probably a lifetime before that. But I tell you this, marriage is a sacred pact. It's a sacred vow. It is a sacred pathway to self-knowledge, self-realization, and an access to something greater than your own life. Something greater than your measly little life is at stake here. And you don't know that, unfortunately, and you don't know what's available. And so what I recommend is that you and your husband get yourself some counseling. Either get a coach like myself or Azita or somebody near you if you're not around here. But get a coach and take this, because it's not something that you're going to resolve by yourself. And it's not something that you're going to resolve just in a phone call with one of you making an inquiry. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. But
he's got to want it too, and you've got to want it.
I understand that, but I'm tired of putting other people the top of myself, ahead of myself, or their, their needs, everything like that. And
I understand.
Like I sacrifice myself, and I couldn't get,
I'm not recommending you sacrifice yourself.
How?
I'm not recommending that you sacrifice yourself. I'm recommending that you love yourself in a way that you never have before.
I didn't do that. Always
I know.
Above myself, in front of myself, his need and all this stuff. And this is the first time I feel like, for what reason anymore I can't do it. And this suddenly these things happen, these feelings happen. And
I understand.
That's why I make this call.
Thank you, and I really want to acknowledge you for that. It takes courage, and it takes a kind of act of love, doesn't it, to make a call like this? And you've stuck with it, even though I've been kind of like being hard on you, okay? But I want the best for you, and that's why I'm kind of pressing in with you. All right? I don't want you to give up on a promise that you made. I'm sure you were in love with your husband the day you made that, yes?
Yes.
That love is still there, I promise you. Okay? That love is still there, and it will blow you away.
I care about him, I feel bad for him, all this stuff, but I'm thinking maybe never this these things, this opportunity happen again for me, somebody care about me.
Oh yeah, there'll always be opportunities of men with no integrity to come sniffing around the back door, okay? You want to leave your husband that you're married to, who you've sort of given up on, and go with some guy who's actually soliciting a married woman. I'm telling you. Does it say, does that even hint to you about the level of integrity he's got?
I believe he knew about the situation I'm through.
Well, the man has no respect for marriage, so don't expect him to marry you, and don't expect him to stick around if he does. Statistically, if you leave your husband and go with that guy, the chances of you making that is something like about 6%. 6 out of 100 might make it, and of those 6, I promise you none of them get past 3 years. I've done my homework on this kind of stuff. And the chances of him marrying you if he actually was to get you away from your husband are very slim. Do your own research if you don't believe me.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Very unlikely that he would marry you, and even more unlikely that you would stay married past 3 years.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good evening. You're on Love Talk.
Hello?
Hello. There's somebody that
Hey,
talks
Mr.
loud in the
Gregory,
microphone.
how are you?
I'm good.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
It's about my dad. Unfortunately, he lives in another country,
Okay.
and I am hoping to see you soon. See him soon. I am going to my country soon. So my question is that he always seems to be kind of cold with me
Mm-hmm.
in the way that I always been thinking about him in whatever I do in my life.
Yeah.
Always, in my mind, and whatever I do, I think about.
Your father?
Of course, yeah, because he has been always a good father to me.
Yeah.
So I want to be a good daughter. You know what I'm saying?
That's beautiful. I got it.
I don't know why it has been always in my mind that he's never, how can I say this, like satisfied with what I do. So
Okay.
it seems like we are 4 in my family, and he's always paying more attention to my brothers and my sister. And unfortunately, in the way their lives are now, is not the same as mine. I am saying this because they have problems, and he always complains about them, but he's always giving more attention to them.
Giving more attention to his problems?
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, he has problems with them, and he always, when I...
Well, with them who? Your brothers and sisters? You're losing me a little bit.
Yes. He always, he's always complaining about them. Like, they don't understand, they don't listen to me, and he complains to me about them, but he's never asking, for example, like, how is my life? And when I talk to him, he's always talking just about them. And even if I see him, he's always just, he never asks, how I am doing, or, I don't know, it seems like it's making me unhappy,
So do you have a question? What's your question about that? How can I help you with that? I see the situation, but do you have a specific thing that you'd like to know about that?
How can I approach him and ask him, if he's happy with me,
Got it.
I'm being as a daughter.
That's perfect, just like you said it. Dad, I need to hear from you. I need to know. What do you think of me as a daughter? He may say, you're fine. That may be it. Your dad may be one of those 1 or 2 syllable kind of guys. Something that how old's your dad? What age is your father?
No, it's just...
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I hear.
What is his age?
He's 57, no, actually 60.
He's 60.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What country did he grow up in? What culture is he?
Mexican.
He's Mexican.
Yeah.
Ah, Spanish man. I got it. I mean, I heard your accent, and so it's very unusual. You're watching a Persian channel,
No, because my husband is Persian.
Your husband's Persian. Okay, I got it. So, that's a pretty macho culture, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
The men are like men,
Uh-huh.
and they don't cry.
Well, trust me, it's not as far than the Persian one.
I understand. I love both of those cultures, and I love the men and women in both of those cultures, and I do see the similarities, the music, and even some of the food, yeah?
In the way they are. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, it's very, the family thing, I really totally get that. Here's the thing. Men's feelings, especially if these from that culture and that generation, run very deep. It doesn't mean that they're not there. It's just deep. In fact, they're very, very strong. And if men of that nature, can you imagine a man like that actually crying?
Actually, I never seen him cry.
Well, but just be with me for a second. Can you imagine if a man like that cried, it would bring the whole room down, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything would stop if a man like that cried.
Yeah.
And when a man like that laughs, doesn't everybody feel happy? And when a man like that gets angry, don't you like shrink up in fear? Right. And if a man like that were to get afraid, you'd be really scared, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm trying to, I say all that to demonstrate that when some men have very deep feelings. All men have very deep feelings. I've never met a man that didn't have very deep feelings, now that I think about it. Some men are more in touch with their feminine side and more expressive of their feelings, okay?
Yeah.
But most of those really masculine guys, you know, we just don't emote that much because our emotions would overpower you anyhow if you were to meet them at the depth that they are felt. Does that communicate?
Yeah.
Okay. Given that, those men just say a few words and you need to like intuit it. But the first thing that I was present to when you called, when you started explaining about your father is, it seems to me that you were wishing he was a better mother. Most daughters are unhappy that their fathers are not better mothers.
Yeah, that is
right?
true.
Your mother's how your mother is and your father's how your father is. You know, that's how they are. Your mother probably gives you a lot of feelings and emotions and hugs and kisses and appreciation, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's not your mother. He's your father. And he's like that, you know?
The thing is I don't know if now, because I am married now, my relationship should be different. You know, like I shouldn't expect that much from him because now I have my husband. So
why?
I don't know if I should say anything.
He's going to change because you got married?
I'm happy. He knows that my husband is wonderful and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go back to my childhood, for example. I was very happy, and I don't know if it's as a dad, I can go and say, you know what, Dad, why you are not there with me? You know, why I don't feel you? Because maybe he's going to say, you know what, you have your husband now, you are married.
That's right.
So I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yeah, I don't think that he's left you in his heart or anything like that. You know, look, you're talking about a guy who's probably had the same haircut his entire life. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
He's probably got the same belt, right?
Well, not the same.
Maybe he's got 5 belts. If he's really like, you know, he's probably got 4 or 5 belts, 3 or 4 pairs of shoes that he really likes, and maybe some others that he never wears. He's probably got an old car that he really likes to take care of, and maybe a new one that he got for your mom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy. I know this kind of guy. I am that kind of guy. Okay?
Okay.
Okay? That, you know, when men like that get a new pair of shoes or something like that, you know, and they see each other, right? If you got a new pair of shoes, everybody would go, oh, wow, they're so great, and they go with your dress or whatever, right? They make a big fuss about it, right? He gets a new pair of shoes, and he's with his buddies. They go, new shoes, huh? That's it. He gets a haircut. Nobody even says anything about it, right?
That is true.
Right? He gets a new shirt. He gets nobody says a thing, and he doesn't either. Okay?
Yeah.
So don't expect him to be like your mom.
Yeah.
You know, that's like, you know, being disappointed that your dog is not more like your cat or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a fair analogy, but
No, but I understand.
it's a different species. You know, and you have to just respect it for how it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure his love is every bit there for you, and I'm sure that, you know, he misses his little girl and would love to have you come and sit on his lap and tease him and, you know, get him to talk. You know, he might grunt for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You okay?
Yeah, I love that. I love in the way
Yeah, he's great. He's perfect the way he is.
That is the way my dad is, you know. I
Yeah.
never felt like he doesn't love me. I was just more, you know, like expecting more from him.
Yeah, it's not something that is his way, you know, to give.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you,
You
so
bet.
much.
You bet.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks. Thanks for your call.
Evening. Thank you.
Yeah, have a great Thanksgiving and give
Thank
your
you.
dad
You and your-
my respects.
Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Good evening. You're on Love Talk.
Good evening. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
I have a question. Actually, I spoke to you
Okay.
last week.
I'm going to ask you to speak up, okay?
Okay, no problem. I did speak to you and Azita last week regarding one of my friends, and I did open up about how I feel about him.
Yes.
My question this week is, what happened when you really open up to someone and you tell the guy how you feel about it, and then for 1 week you don't hear from him?
Well, you just have to wait, don't you? You can't pursue him.
I'm strong. I am waiting, but
I know, it drives you nuts, doesn't it?
of course.
It would drive me nuts if I was like that. I mean, so you've opened your feelings up, you've opened up about your feelings to this guy. What did he say at the time?
Well, unfortunately, I mean, we know each other for a while. We know each other for 4 years.
You know-
We're friends, but a little bit more than friends. And why since then we feel a little bit more than friends, so I was the one who opened up. But, well, he kind of putting a wall in between us, and he keeps telling me that we are very different.
Okay, so I'm saying this to you, but it's for all the people listening as well. We have this funny way of talking that's in metaphors,
Yeah.
right? But metaphors are very powerful, right?
Okay, what is
So when you say he's putting a wall, there's not actually any bricks or wood or anything there, right?
that? Yes, right.
Right. So, but it creates a very strong world, doesn't it?
It does.
When you say I've created a wall, everybody sees the wall, right? It's brick or something, right? But he's not actually building a wall between you, so what is he doing?
Well, he keeps on telling me that we are very different.
He tells you you're very different, okay?
Well, I don't see it that way.
So what does he say? You say, I really have strong feelings for you, and he says, we're very different?
Yeah, because what I told him is that I would like to get to know him more.
So you said, I'd like to get to know you more, and he said,
Then we are different.
we're different.
So, to me, he's pushing me away. But I hear a lot of contradictions, you know?
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then as I'm talking to him, I feel a little bit of fear. I feel a little bit of something, and I'm not aware of it. Because, I mean, how can somebody not respond to someone who's, like, telling you how she feels about it? I never heard once that he has feelings for me, but this is now how I feel about him for the last 4 years.
You've never heard from him that he had feelings for you?
No, he never said anything. He keeps on saying that we are different, but we are still friends and we still have a good time. We travel together. So my question is, should I just let it go? Or it's very hard for me because I see him more than a friend. So
I got that.
I was the one who opened up because I felt like I'm a little bit stronger than him. But
Okay, so you felt like you were stronger and you opened up to him,
Well, I'm more-
but he wasn't receptive. He said, we're different. That's all he says? That's all he says?
yeah, then because I don't like the same type of music he does, or I don't like exactly the things he does, he thinks that he doesn't want to take a chance in his life, so he wants to be with somebody who is exactly like him because he's very afraid of getting married, and a lot of married couples are very unhappy.
Well,
He always keeps telling me how...
yeah, he's the one that was talking about how his parents were unhappy in their marriage.
Exactly, you got it.
So he needs to get complete about that, and you are not trained to do that, right? That's a certain technology and expertise that that you got to be trained in to get somebody complete about their past so that it's actually in the past where it belongs.
Exactly.
Right? He's got the past out ahead of him. You got that?
Yes, I did. And
Yeah, he's got the past out ahead of him, and so wherever he goes, he's like dragging it with him. It's like, well, my parents used to be unhappy in their marriage, so he drags that with him everywhere he goes. Do you got that?
Yes, I did.
And so he's going to drag that into this relationship or any relationship, and it has nothing to do with you.
Me.
Do you got that?
Yes, I did.
It has nothing to do with you.
Last 6 years he's been alone. He didn't have any long-term relationship, you know. So
Well, he can't.
I'm sorry?
He cannot have a long-term relationship.
That's what I...
He is incapable of having a long-term relationship, given that he is more committed to his version of what relationships look like than actually being present with another human being. Can you get that?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like if you never met the guy, right? Let's say you never met the guy, or say it's a brand new person and you say, let's meet for coffee. And they sit down, and the first thing they tell you is like, my parents were very unhappy in the relationship, therefore I think all relationships are bad, and I don't want to ever be in a long-term relationship because I don't want to hurt like my parents did. So would you like to get to know me? How about we go out?
No.
Right? Oh, come on.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what he's putting on the table right from the get-go.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay? So like, my question here is, why are you so attracted to that? What's so cool about that? What's he got that 100 other guys who are looking for someone just like you don't have?
Yeah, but you just said...
Well, answer me that, will you please?
No, I won't.
You won't answer me why you're more attracted to that than somebody who doesn't have all that baggage.
What's your question again? I'm sorry. No, I thought you said if I didn't know him for the first time, if he would have keep on telling me this, would I go out with a guy like that? I said no. But the difference is I know him for the last 4 years, so he's making it harder for me.
Well, okay. So now you got the past and the future. The 4 years are now in the future, right? So look, my question to you, I'm going to say it again, okay? What's so attractive? I got the 4 years part, okay? You got kind of 4 years invested in this, and I'm sure that you've had some nice moments with him. And those nice moments, I promise you, were done in a playful state where you didn't have anything at stake. There was just the fun of being there in the moment, right?
Okay.
Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. When people just play with each other, what gets present is love. Exactly. Love's always there. Human beings love each other, and especially when they play together, and there's an innocent acceptance of the other. You got that? So, of course, love is going to be present. Now, can you build a lifetime around that?
No.
Well, the truth is you could. The truth is you could have a lifetime of love and play and happiness with another human being. Now, you'd have to work out some things like banking and, you know, who's going to pay the mortgage and, you know, what about the kids and stuff like that. There's stuff to work out, but you could never stop playing and still keep loving.
Yes.
And that's really what our work is actually all about. That's what Azita and I are doing all the time. Even when we're working, we're playing. We're playing all the time. Even when we're super serious with each other, you know, and we have our fights and all like that, there's this sense of like, well, I accept you for how you are and you accept me how, and we're going to fight this out, you know? Can you get that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. But my question to you is, what would be so attractive about a guy that's got all that baggage that he's insisting on, more attractive than probably a half a dozen other guys that are probably in your environment who may be attracted to you and not have all that baggage? What is it about you that's got to focus on that?
I tell you. Well, what I really like about him is that he has good character also, his knowledge, and he's very knowledgeable, very independent, very honest guy. What I really love about him is being honest with his feelings. He's not playing with my feelings. It's just something to do with me that I need to work on. And also, maybe that little bit of chasing and his mysterious...
A little bit of what?
I'm sorry?
Maybe that little bit of what?
Chasing.
Chasing, okay. Is he chasing you or are you chasing him?
I'm chasing him. So
well, stop it.
I know.
Stop chasing him. It won't work out.
No, but I cannot, I don't think I can change this to friendship. So this is my question. Yes, I can, but it takes a lot of energy out of me, and it does hurt me a little bit. Can we switch that to friendship, or I just to completely forget about him? I don't want to lose him as a friend because I think this is my problem.
Well, I got to ask you something. It's very personal. Will you answer me? Well, you don't have to.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you guys had sex?
Yes. Told you. You're more.
Well, he can't be your friend anymore.
That's it.
Sorry. It's not going to work out. You're not going to be able to be friends with somebody that you've had sex with.
Obviously.
Unless you go away and have a relationship in which you're thoroughly happy and complete, and he has a relationship where he's happy and complete, and there's like nothing sexual going on between the two of you, it could happen that you could be friends. Although, in my opinion, a friend is somebody that you have nothing hidden from, that you don't have to be any particular way around, that you have nothing to hide, that you can tell your deepest, darkest secrets and they can get it. So, you know, in that situation, if he was your friend, that would mean that you would tell him all the things about your new boyfriend and stuff like that, and he'd tell you all the stuff about his new girlfriend, and you'd have nothing, like absolutely nothing going on about that. See, that ain't going to be that way with you.
Yes.
It's never going to be that way. So it's inauthentic to say he's your friend. It's not a true description of friendship. And so if you want to live a relationship that's a lie, saying he's my friend, you go right ahead, but he's not.
Obviously not. Actually, what I find out about him, these are like recent things I find about him, and I find it very unattractive.
What?
Kind of pushing me away from him, so that's kind of helped. That I'm glad I talked to you about it, because everything he's saying about his parents and this and that, those are the things I discovered lately, because I'm the one who opened up. So I think that attraction towards him is kind of going away.
Yeah. So I can really get that that it's painful and a vulnerable feeling for you, that you opened up your heart and that you shared your feelings with him, and that, let's just say it for what it is, he rejected you.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, he rejected you, and that hurts.
But like you said, I know it has nothing to do with me. It's something he has, but that's his problem. He needs to take care of.
Yeah. Just about anybody that did that with him would get the same treatment. So it's not you personally, okay?
Yeah.
So
I don't really take it as a rejection, you know? Like, I tried and it didn't work, and I can easily move on, you know?
Yeah. Well, sometimes there's some power. Let me say this, okay?
Okay.
Sometimes you can actually get your power back in saying the words yourself, I failed at this.
Obviously, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Otherwise, you kind of skulk off saying, well, it was kind of a success, but in your heart you're saying it's a failure. Yeah. It's kind of more powerful to say, you know what, I gave my best, it didn't work, move on.
Exactly.
There's some power. You take your power back when you do that.
That's exactly.
I failed. Okay?
Yes, I got disappointed.
I gave my all, I fell down, it hurt, and I'm going to pick myself up and move on with no loss of power.
That's it, because if I didn't have that failure, I wouldn't really find out about who really he is. So
yeah.
I'm kind of glad I had this.
Yeah, thank you for that. And thanks for taking the coaching. You know, a coach tells you what you don't want to hear so you can be who you want to be.
Exactly.
You know?
Don't forget, I'm watching you on Azita every week, so I'm learning a lot from you guys.
Thank you. I'm really honored by that.
And thank you very much. You did a great job tonight.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
It's been fun.
We'll hope to see you guys again next week.
Okay, thank you very much.
Have a wonderful night.
Yeah, good night.
Bye.
Thank you so much for your call. You guys, thank you so much for your calls tonight. There are people that are still on the line. All the lines are lit up. I've been told that I've only got a couple of more minutes left, so I love you madly. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week.
The Embrace Growth app is finally here. You start by signing in, just as you would online, and from there, you'll see all of your account settings. Once in the app, you'll have access to events and all of Embrace Growth's original content. Registering for workshops and seminars is easier than ever, and tools for managing your profile and options are built right in. schedule private sessions, and connect with the global Embrace Growth community. Download it today on the App Store.
در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان با دستیابی به اهمیت و ارزش واقعی خود، قدرت زنانگی و آرامش خود را بازیابید. تورنتو 15 تا 17 مارچ، اروپا 26 تا 28 آپریل، ایروان ارمنستان 31 اکتبر تا 2 نوامبر، لس آنجلس 13 تا 15 سپتامبر. 310 460 2600.
Welcome to the all-new EmbraceGrowth.com. You'll have access to all the content you love at the click of a button. Videos of seminars, events, and the ability to sign up for workshops. Direct access to digital downloads right from your mobile devices. Stay in the know and see our latest graduate events. Watch your favorites anytime, anywhere. Visit us today at EmbraceGrowth.com.
برنامه دنیای عشق با دکتر آزیتا سایان، برنامه‌ای که تمامی سوالهای شما را جواب می‌دهد. ازدواج، عشق، سکس، همجنسگرایی، فرزندان، والدین، خیانت. از یوتیوب لایو استریم، فیسبوک و اینستاگرام لایو. سه شنبه ها و پنج شنبه ها 10 شب به وقت ایران و 10:30 صبح به وقت لس آنجلس. تلفن تماس با استودیو 818 532 66 55.
Welcome to the Embrace Growth app. There's a new way to communicate and join in. Create your free account online and sign into the app. Manage your profile on the go and choose between English or Farsi. Register for events and schedule appointments more easily than ever. Stream audio, video, and download books all over Wi-Fi or cellular. Sign up for workshops and seminars right on your phone. And access your audio and video library in the palm of your hand. Take your favorite lessons from Dr. Azita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan with you. Download it today on the App Store.
یک مرد منحصر به فرد، مسلط، متمرکز، قابل اعتماد و رضایتمند باشید. کارگاه شرافت، عزت کلام و مهارت به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان. ایروان ارمنستان 15 تا 17 آگوست. تورنتو 20 تا 22 سپتامبر، اروپا 18 تا 20 اکتبر. 310 460 2600.